Welcome back. In this video, we're going to cover filling out the GBV incident forms for Anne's case. We've already completed the GBVIMS Plus survivor information, consent for services, and assessment forms in part 1 of this video series. Here, I have opened a new incident for us to complete.
Let's recall Anne's story. She's a 20-year-old refugee living in Bidi Bidi who was forced to marry her older uncle, who is a 40-year-old farmer, prior to fleeing her home village in the DRC. Her husband continually rapes and beats her. You're the first person Anne has come to for help, and she heard about your services from others in the camp. She does not have any disabilities, and you referred her to medical services at the IMC clinic on September 30th, 2020 at 10 a.m. With this information, let's complete the incident forms for Anne.
First, we're going to complete the GBV incident form. We'll start by entering the incident ID for the incident recorder. For this video, we'll just use this code. Of course, in your context, the code will depend on your coding configuration. The incident status is set to open. And we'll mark yes for consent given to share non-identifiable information for reporting, because Anne has provided consent for this in our scenario. Next, we'll enter the date of the interview. This took place on September 21st, 2020. Next, we'll enter the date of the incident. She's reporting an incident that took place on September 20th. After this, we can enter the account of the incident. Next, we're going to fill out the rest of the information on this form. Although the perpetrator and survivor share a home, we'll mark client's home as the incident location because this indicates that the incident occurred where Anne is living, regardless of if she owns it or not. Next, we'll move on to the type of violence form. Keeping the classification tool in mind, we'll mark the type of violence as rape because penetration was involved when Anne's husband forced her to have sex with him. This particular incident was not an act of harmful traditional practice, and there were no money, goods, benefits, or services exchanged. There was also no abduction. Anne has not reported this incident anywhere else. And she has had previous incidents of GBV perpetrated against her. Next, we'll go to the GBV individual details. The good news is, based on the information you already entered into the case, a lot of this is pre-populated for you. You don't have to enter the code, the sex, the date of birth, the age, the country of origin, the displacement status of report, the marital status, the disability status, and if it was an unaccompanied, separated, or other vulnerable child. Moving on, let's next complete the alleged perpetrator section. To do this, select the Add button. A window will appear and we'll complete that form together. We are completing this for the primary perpetrator, so we'll mark primary. The perpetrator is male and has committed past GBV against Anne. We can select the nationality and clan or ethnicity of the perpetrator if it's applicable and used on your forms and country. Her husband is 40, so we can select the appropriate age group and mark the relationship with the survivor, as well as their occupation. In this case, these would be customized for you. For now, I'll mark it as other, though farmer is a very common type listed in alleged perpetrator occupation. And then we'll click add. We can see that we've added an alleged perpetrator to the form here. Finally, we can complete the service referrals form. Let's start by looking at who referred the client to you. In this case, we'll mark self-referral or first point of contact. Let's move along. For safe house and referral shelter, we'll mark this one as referral declined by survivor. That means we don't need to enter any of this information about the date, the time, the provider, location, or other notes. Next, we can add on all the other referrals. Let's start with health. We did refer Anne to medical services, so we'll select referred. The appointment is scheduled for September 30th. The time is 10 a.m. And the service provider is International Medical Corps at their location in Bidi. Then we can click add. Next, let's go to Psychosocial Counseling Services. We did not refer Anne for additional psychosocial services because those were provided by us, so we'll mark service provided by your agency. Then click add. Next, we'll go to Legal Assistance Services. We'll mark this as referral declined by the survivor, as Anne did not want to pursue this avenue, and click add. And the same thing for the police. Anne did wish to be referred for livelihood services, so let's open that up. However, we know that there were none available at the time, so let's mark this as service unavailable. Finally, we have child protection services. Let's mark this one as service not applicable since Anne is not a child. Now that the incident forms have been completed, we can hit save at the top of the page. And there I can see my incident record was successfully created.
Thank you for joining us in this video as we completed Anne's intake form through the creation of a new incident. Join us for our next video as we discuss the case action and safety plans for Anne.